What's going on, y'all? If Loving You is Wrong, season 4, episode 2, the last words. Okay, listen. Um, we I can do this quick, but hold on. Joey and Fawn, let me tell you something. Fawn is going out for her man, okay? She is like, look, daddy, let me tell you something. The restaurant would be running quickly and all fine and smooth if you bring Natalie back, okay? You can't come at her because of the stuff that she did, what her son did. Natalie didn't do nothing. You know she was like the best employee that you ever had and all this stuff. I'm like, daddy, no, he just trying to take it out on her because he and his feelings or whatever, because he called Fawn and Joey up in the house and all this stuff, doing it and whatever. They really wasn't doing it when he came in. They was playing with his money. So I'd be pissed off about that too. But, you got a nigga up in the house that just got out of jail. I understand. But Fawn had to remind her. She was like, watch when I tell your mama. Mama already know. And she said that when you got with her daddy wasn't here for your bullshit either. And he was like, oh, he was an ass. He was this. He was crazy. I'm sitting here, so wait a minute. This whole thing about the people with the kids and all this stuff, it was like the kids was repeating the generation of their parents. They was repeating the actions of their parents. They was like going through similar situations. We see Fawn, trying to get with Joey, really wanting to be with him and wanting to get the approval for the daddy. And then if the daddy don't approve, it's like, I don't care. I'm grown. I could be with whoever I want to be with. And then you get her saying the same thing, that's what her mother said about their relationship. And I was like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. But she was basically like, if you don't give Natalie back her job, okay, fuck Joey at this moment. But if you don't give Natalie back her job because she didn't do nothing, you fight her without just cause, okay? She can file a lawsuit. I can call Uncle and he can, set this shit up. But I said, look at Fawn, you gonna take your daddy down just to get your boyfriend mama her job back? Okay, you got some morals about you a little bit. Because you knew that one right. Regardless of the situation, he did fire her unjustly. He took it out, or he took the son's actions out on the mother. And that was not right. And I was like, next thing you know, Fawn would have said, bitch, the CDC finna come up in here. The health department finna come up in here. I done seen some droppings in the back, Dad, and I know. Okay? So get this lady back her job. He was like, all right, god damn. But that boy, Joey, he ain't coming up in here. She was like, fine. I was like, okay, fine. All right. I was kind of worried about Fawn. Like, Fawn seemed like she tried to trap a nigga. But she was helping out a little bit. I said, take up for your man. Had his ass in the back seat. He was like, well, damn, did you bring my burger? I'm hungry and shit. She was like, I got something else for you to eat. I got a 5-course meal. I said, you better take it. So they go back to Natalie's house and tell her what's going on. Of course, Natalie want to be difficult, don't really want to hear what they got to say. But eventually, she was like, so should I tell my daddy that you'll be in tomorrow? She said, no. I said, Natalie, stop playing. You need the money. Okay, unemployment checks probably done stopped already, and them shit probably wasn't nothing. And then she was like, no, you can tell him I'll be there the day after tomorrow. I said, and then, Fawn was like, okay, boo-boo, I gotta go to school, so you can stay here. Natalie was like, you finna keep him here? Joey was like, what, you want me to stay here with? And I was like, yeah, work that shit out. Y'all still gotta talk. And then he mocking the way that Natalie talking. I was with Natalie when she said, don't you ever do that voice again, because that, I don't know what that was, but it wasn't me, all right? So don't do that. She looked him up and down like he was crazy. Like, bro, what the fuck? I said the same thing, because I looked up when I heard it. I said, who is this? Pee Wee Herman? No. Who is Joey's daddy? Who is Joey's daddy? Is he a Rican, Puerto Rican, Dominican, Cubano? Who is he? Okay, I just really want to know. Or is he a real light-skinned black with some... Girl, I just want to know. Natalie, we need to dig into deep and see what's the backstory against Joey. We know Lucian and the other kid's story and whatever. But what's their backstory? Like, how many baby daddies you got? Because you do got a little son. I think she got a daughter or something like that. And Joey and her don't look like they got the same daddies. And then, Lucian be there for the little boy with the dread. So what's your story, girl? What's their story? Do we finna have some baby Oh, but Tyler, get messy and put some baby daddy drama up in there, okay? Let these motherfuckers, bitch, I ain't seen you in how many years now? You want to come up here when you feel like it? Hell nah, that's what I want. Then I have, be fine with Natalie going off like, okay, get in that ass, Natalie. But anyway, speaking of Lucian, Edwina, wait a minute, I'm finna call her real name. Her name, Kelly. Kelly came down to the station to talk to Esperanza. Well, not really Esperanza, but she ran into Esperanza because no one was there. First, you got Claudia talking to Esperanza about what's going on and how should she feel about, the situation. And, she's feel trouble because something is not sitting right about what happened with Pete and how did he get shot up and how was this a setup or whatever. Claudia, that girl was asking some dumb questions early on when she got in. I said, girl, you just a pretty face. They got you on here just acting like you a pretty face. Come on, Olivia. What's her name? Claudette. Come on. I called her Olivia, bitch. Come on, Claudette. You got to stop playing, girl. Speak it up. Come on, pick it up. She couldn't get the call stuff. She couldn't get, I don't know how to work this. I said, y'all won't have this fine ass girl up on here acting like an airhead. But bitch, she was steady there talking to Esperanza like, Ben was doing this and then Eddie did this and it's just weird. Why would they take him to the south side? And I thought bikes don't be over there on the south side and this and this and that. And Esperanza was like, girl, what? Esperanza peeped everything that she was talking about. And Esperanza said, girl, you need to hush and stop asking so many questions. I said, Claudia, you cute, okay? I'm rooting for you just because you cute. That was very shallow. I will admit that. I understand that some of y'all was like, Ashley, I know. Y'all already know. But I had to put that out there. I don't want to see this pretty face ass bitch to die because she's going to be on Eddie's list. Because she was figuring shit out. And I just said, no, girl. Just close your mouth for a second. Whisper those things to yourself, okay? Don't speak those things out loud. Because Eddie, that motherfucker ain't, I don't want you on his hit list, okay? He's going to make you a target, and we just don't need no more innocent casualties of war, okay? This imaginary war and all this shit. Girl, this when Kelly came in there, she was looking for Lucian, okay? Trying to talk to him about, how friends, they nosy. They all up in each other's business, okay? I can't have friends like that. Like, I understand we close, but I'm not finna go to your man's or your girl's workplace trying to get the tea. Hell no. If you don't want to tell me, I just wait till you tell me. Until then, I'm not finna be scoping, trying to get this, that seems a little bit messy to me. But she was just trying to figure out what was going on because, she want that sale, girl. She want that sale. This is not about friendship. This is about business too, okay? She want that commission on this house, all right? Why y'all not finna get this house together, girl? I'm just trying to figure out what's going on between her and Lucian. And then Esperanza was like, girl, what? What happened? Girl, they broke up. For real? What they do? I don't even know, girl, but it's just a mess and all this stuff going on. Why is it so empty up in here? Esperanza was like, that's what happens when an officer gets shot. Girl, who got shot? You don't really know him, Pete, but he got shot on the south side. And I said, Now here's my theory. And this kind of proved it and kind of confirmed it because a lot of us were saying that, what the hell is it that Lucian... Chief Keef is so fucking ugly. And my cousin used to go with... Thank God she didn't get pregnant by that ugly motherfucker. But anyway... I'm saying that because Viceland is on. If y'all don't have the Viceland channel, they got some good programs on there. I love looking at the Balls Deep. I don't know why it's called Balls Deep. Maybe because he be going into different, areas, different cultures, different events and stuff and getting the tea on it, and I like it. And they do Noisy, which goes against, it goes to different neighborhoods, and see the background of it, like the violence and stuff like that. And on this episode, they doing Chicago. I'm like, yeah, Southside, we on some bullshit out here. And I love the show Gaycation. When they did that Jamaica one. I'm sorry. Let me not go into another thing because, you know, motherfuckers want to get in their feelings just because I go into some, you know, you bitches trip me fuck out, okay? Not the ones that didn't have no issue, but, you know, and the ones that, you know, was joking about it. I got your jokes, but some people just, like, you've been watching my channel forever and ever. You know I veer off topic. So what? So fucking what? Get over it. You don't want to hear it, fast forward. I'm sitting here like, are we really finna go through this? Like, and if you go unsubscribe and all that stuff, you don't gotta tell me like it's gonna hurt my feelings because all I'm gonna say is bye. A bitch gonna tell me that. I was like, bye girl, okay, who cares? What? Anyway, I'ma still do me. But what was I saying? So Lucian them, they get to the little set. He got this tight ass t-shirt on. And he just as big as me wearing the extra medium. You know goddamn what, let me turn this off because that shit just, y'all gotta stop this bullshit. Y'all really gotta stop this bullshit. Randall, you gotta stop that bullshit too. Your shirts be extra tight on this show too. But anyway, let me get back to Lucian. They go back to the scene. Pete, I guess they took him to the hospital. I was like, oh my God, little Peter, he did not get dead. He ain't get dead for now, okay? Of course, Eddie is there talking to Ben. I thought I told you not to make the call until he was dead. He was like, I didn't have no choice and all this stuff and yada, yada, yada. I was like, shut up, Ben. They standing there listening to, first of all, Lucian was talking to Steven, the detective guy in the blue suit. I don't know. I know he's crooked. He's crooked with the chief. The chief is crooked because the chief knew he was going to the south side. And he knew something wasn't right and that, you know, when Pete was finna give some information or whatever, something, the chief is crooked too. You can't tell me no different. Stevens, at first, I thought he was working with Eddie, but Steven don't even like Eddie. But then when Lucian be asking these questions and they be doing all this stuff, the way that he talk is like he knows more. And he just talking about something, I just do what I told and all this stuff. And, you know, Lucian was telling him about this department has a history of rookies just showing up dead, you know, 5 years. And within 5 years, 16 rookies have died. That's not even once a year. That's like almost 4 times 4, that's 16. That's like 3.5 a year. Y'all do the math on that one, because that didn't sound 3 times 3, that's 3 times 5, that's 15, plus another one. Yeah. Y'all like, bitch, look, I ain't been... Listen, I'm tired. I ain't get no sleep last night. I was up till like 3 o'clock in the goddamn morning texting and shit. Bitches had me up. But anyway, yeah, and he was like, is that a problem or some shit? And I said, wait a minute, Stevens, come on now. You need to do the math, and you know that that's a lot of shit, okay? That is not normal, all right? He talking about some, hell yeah. And it was like, what was he doing out here on the south side? We don't put bikes out here, and why wasn't he in the vest? It was like, I don't know. I just do what I'm told. It was like, why are you asking so many questions and something like that? Let me find out. You know, Eddie had came up to Lucian and said some shit to him, too. You know, what you ask the questions, let me find what you IA and all this stuff. You a rookie, you don't talk to me and all this blah blah blah. You know Eddie was being Eddie. And they listening, Lucian was listening to Ben trying to give his little statement about how he showed up and, you know, he dropped to the floor and he was trying to get away. He came around the corner and all this stuff. And the way Ben was telling the story, you can either take it as, you know, he was trying to think of it on the spot because that's what he was doing. He was lying and he couldn't think of a good ass lie because that motherfucker was stuttering. Or you could say he was stuttering doing all that stuff because of the adrenaline. He was shocked and all that shit. But it was the first one, okay? Child, Lucian called him out on it. And he was like, how you gonna just drop to the floor? You came around the corner and you dropped to the floor, but yet your knees and your body ain't scraped up on any type of, you know, wear and tear on your body to look like you fell to the floor, and yet your bike is sitting straight up like nothing. And I was like, get him. Here's my theory. And I'm pretty sure a lot of us already figured this out. But, and this kind of confirmed it a little bit to me, because when I tweeted this, Edwina, the lady that played Kelly, she favored it. You know, I think Lucian is an undercover FBI agent. He's working undercover, okay? Either FBI or IA, and I'm leaning more towards FBI. Because, listen to this. I look at a lot of TV. Y'all know Quantico, FBI, main headquarters and stuff over there. That's in Langley, Virginia, okay? He came from Virginia. They let him go 4 years ago. Where the money come from? Listen, put this shit together. Put the puzzle pieces together, bitch. That's what I'm doing. I'm like, Virginia, FBI, okay. But y'all tell me what y'all think about that little theory. I'm pretty sure we can be all in agreement to saying that, he has to be undercover. Because this is taking too damn long for him to bust these bitches, okay? Because I'm tired. Eddie has to go. Right now, okay? And then we get this scene where Randall goes to the hospital to see the Colombian drug lord, the daddy. He's talking about how his son Julius is losing his way. He's cray. He's just out here doing a whole bunch of stuff, and I need you to talk to him and reel him in. And he's gonna be upset because I'm finna change my will. He just got upgraded to stage 4 cancer. He basically on his deathbed right about now, and it was just funny. It was not funny, but it was the way that they were showing how the interaction between Randall and this guy. It's almost as if, because Randall was the therapist and stuff to him, and it's almost as if that the guy looked at him more like a son, and that's how he was treating him, when he was rubbing his face, and, Randall was rubbing his face and all that stuff. It was like a father-son relationship that probably Randall wanted, and probably the relationship that the guy wanted. Mind you, Randall never had this. And we're going to get into that in a minute. So I was like, that's interesting. This man trusts Randall, okay? But I was just like, all right. Julius come to the freaking hospital, not the hospital, but to the, what's the place that Esperanza worked? The police office. The headquarters and all that shit, trying to talk to her. He was just waiting at the corner. I said, how you know she was finna come around the corner? You just waiting there like this, posted up. I said, put that hip back in place, nigga. And she was like, what do you want? I was like, I heard that a cop got shot. I was trying to see, was it our boy? She was like, you know what? You the one that got him shot? Let me find out that you did this. Well, you got me shot. I didn't do nothing. Listen, I don't want to fuck with you no more, okay? I'm done with the drug dealers. I'm done with this. He was like, so you done with me, but yet you still fucking a dirty cop. Yes, I said it. He out here taking money from me. I've been watching him all this time. He taking money from me, taking product and all this stuff. But he fucking bitches in your house. And bitch, I just came back from your house and he got a bitch up in there right now. Oh, this the house where your daughter live at, huh? But you, you over me. He was like, I just want to touch that sweet ass of yours. You ain't never going to taste this again. I said, Esperanza, stop lying. You be saying that you said that to Eddie. You give it up every damn time. All right? This motherfucker was willing to kill for you for almost the right reason. Because Eddie had to go. But they both bad guys. But the lesser of the two evils. That's how I look at it. Like, But I was just like, y'all tripping. Y'all play too damn much. And then you got Quan out there staking out the burger joint. He's still on this thing trying to follow Fawn and get the money and all that shit. Who cares? But the shit that happened at the end, Alex, everybody, Brad is going around in the neighborhood like he a Jehovah's Witness, just going knock, knock, knock. Oh my God, have you seen my wife? Alex, she's blind. She has a baby. I was like, tell the color of the baby. She's black baby, okay? White lady with a black baby. That's pretty descriptive. I was just saying, And so they was like, no, Alex is hiding in the neighborhood. Alex didn't go nowhere because next week we're going to see she going to be up in Kelly house. Alex ain't going nowhere. She had behind people's houses in the goddamn neighborhood, probably on the same damn block, okay? Probably across the goddamn street with the baby just cooing and crying and shit. And this is what pissed me off about Alex. Alex, you got slapped yesterday. You got slapped earlier today, okay? We're going to call last week earlier today, all right? And that blood's still right there. You mean to tell me you couldn't take either a piece of baby wipe or take the damn baby and wipe that shit? Or you couldn't just go like that? You sitting here being all dramatic, girl, so we can see, oh my God, okay. trying to make it seem like Brad hit your ass when it was really your mom. Don't do that shit. Work that shit off, okay? You trying to really look like a white bitch in distress. Come on now, stop it. Anyway, after that, we go to Randall's house. When the show first comes on, his mama was laying into him like, you need to stop this shit that you doing. And he was like, what is it, mama? I'm just getting stuff for my son. Okay, she was like, bitch, you know what? She read him his pieces. And this is why I'm going back to saying that, it's like father, like son. Or this generation that we're seeing now is repeating the generation of their parents or whatever, the actions of their parents. Because now we see why Miss Louise changed her mind against her feelings about Marcy. She was like, because she stayed. She loved you. She did all this stuff for you. And you still fucked her over. Randall does not see what he did. He does not understand that his actions is the reason why Marcy went out and did what she did. Granted, she ain't no better. Like, she fucked up. Like, I mean, I understand why she did it, but that was the wrong course of action, but I understand it. Okay, because two wrongs don't make a right. But at that moment in time, you hurt me, I want to hurt your ass too. But you can't, he wants to get so pissed off and so mad and angry at Marcy and hold this grudge and vendetta against her and make it seem like, oh, because she hurt me for doing it in front of his face. But bitch, I would have rather you did it right there than I understand it's right in front of your face, but you slept with her friend and you've been sleeping with her right under her nose, okay? And then not only that, you probably would have never told her if it wasn't the fact that she had this baby. And then all of a sudden, Miss Louise go in and was like, you just like your father. He was like, don't ever compare me to that bitch, okay? Fuck that motherfucker. He did all this shit to you, and you stayed there, and I wish you would have just let his ass rot in the middle of the motherfucking street. It was like, Marcy should have let your ass rot too. Is that what you're saying? And then we get into a little backstory about the daddy. The daddy did the same thing to the mama. Cheated on her. She was at work. And she got served some papers for child support saying that her shit was finna get garnished. And because the daddy owes child support for a baby. And when she looked at the name of the baby, the name of the mother of the child, it was her friend. Mind you, her friend said that the baby was from an ex of hers. It was really from her husband. So it's just it's literally repeating itself. And that's what's making Miss Louise angry. And Randall can't see it, and he can't admit that he's wrong. And that's what she keep telling him. And then, Marcy was like, I'm over it, I'm done. She sees outside that, Alex's parents is out there. And she tell Miss Louise, he racist, the daddy racist as fuck, okay? So he gonna kill his ass, or what? One way or another, something gonna happen to the motherfucker. So pray for your son, say your last goodbyes and all that shit, but I'm out of this bitch. Randall downstairs, and he just taunting her. She was like, bitch, you can have whatever it is that you want. I want a divorce. And he was trying to make it seem as if, oh no, you ain't got nothing without me. I'm gonna make it so that you can't leave me or whatever. She was like, okay, whatever. You want to take my money? Here go my credit card. Here go this, here go that. He should have known then that Marcy had some shit planned. Okay. That bitch gave up all them cars. She probably pulled the money off. You never know. If Marcy was smart, I would have did that shit too. But she probably got a little secret stash. Always have a savings account somewhere else for a rainy goddamn day. Because you never fucking know. Especially when you're in a relationship. So you won't be stuck in those situations where you can't get out and you got to depend on that motherfucker that you don't want to be with no more. Because he's a motherfucking bastard. He or she. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, go off. Don't play into it, Marcy. Marcy left. He was trying to pull her bags. Let me help you. You want to see my son? Yeah, he gonna need some diapers and he gonna need this and all this stuff. And then Marcy just got up in that car. She didn't even engage him. And I said, that's what you supposed to fucking do. Drive the fuck off and let him look stupid. This bitch gonna say, you want to see my son with Alex? The daddy was standing on the porch smoking that cigarette. He turned around like, first of all, when the drama was going on, the daddy was thinking in his head, look at these coon-ass niggers. Look at these niggers. Always causing a goddamn scene. That's what he was thinking, right? But when he said that shit about Alex being his baby mama, he looked at her like, what did you say? I said, oh shit. Oh shit, somebody gets shot next week. I don't know who it is. I hope both their asses get shot. I really do. But that was If Loving You Was Wrong. I don't want to be right. Let me put up in there a little bit. No, I'll save it for later. Because I might do a separate video for this. And it's going to be cute and to the point. Because I want y'all opinions. It's going to be a little Bad Girl Club. I'm going to do little special videos here and there. I'm not doing a complete review. But, you know, some shit just can't wait. But I'll see y'all later. Peace.